Good morning. Welcome to PWR Today. It's Friday morning. It is June 5th, 2020, along with, Matthew Thomas. It's the man called Meathead. Matthew, good morning. How you doing out there in snowy Colorado?
I'm doing fantastic. No snow on the ground to speak of, but
Of course, it's June.
I do have a warm cup of coffee in my hand, though, because that's the way that I start my day, just like the audience starts their day with us in their earbuds.
That's right. The best part of waking up is Matthew and Meathead in your cup.
Precisely.
So, Matthew, we are going to actually break down Smackdown. It's coming up tonight. We're going to go over a couple things that are happening on the show tonight. First off, let's talk Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy was accused of being under the influence. Jeff Hardy smelled of a small batch, single malt bourbon, I believe it was. Behind the wheel of a car that ran over Elias. Everybody run over with Elias, because nobody's walking with him anymore because he gets into car accidents. But apparently we're going to hear Jeff's side of the story. What do you think is going to come of this? I mean, we have an idea. I mean, it's kind of laid out for us that, he's been feuding with Sheamus, but could there be a mystery person?
I hope what comes out of it in his statement is he just announces that he's sick of this and is leaving the WWE, because I'm sorry, but this is outright garbage. This is one of the worst angles, the most distasteful things that I've ever seen WWE do, rather. I would be really interested to know if there's one person, not even in the country, in the world, who is interested in this angle. If you are that one person and can tell me why this is a good idea in any capacity and what enjoyment anybody's supposed to get out of this, please call in or write a letter or come to my door.
Use the Pony Express.
If you think that this angle is a good idea or tasteful in any capacity, reach out to me. I will give you my home address and let you come visit me at my home and tell me in person.
There you go, folks. You've heard it. Make sure you bring your cell phone with you because Matthew may lose it. You can meet him at the leasing office at his home in, Bumfuck, Colorado, wherever that is. And make sure you dial up Matthew Thomas. And then what's the Twitter handle there, Matthew, so we can reach out to you?
I'm Thomas.
What's your Facebook? Just Matthew Thomas?
Yeah. Good luck with
that. What's your handle on Grindr?
Do you have handles or usernames, or how does that work?
I don't know. I've never grinded before, so.
I got you. I don't know. I'll have to look into it and get back to you on that one.
What was the one that we found Braun Strowman on?
Oh, that was Tinder.
It was Tinder?
And
okay.
It wasn't that was a circulated picture of apparently Braun Strowman's profile, and it listed his activities and hobbies, which were like, I think it was lifting weights and eating steaks, which, I mean, who doesn't enjoy that?
Right. I mean, nothing again. There was no doubt it was Braun because that Country Strong, I think it was a Tennessee tattoo on his bicep while he's sitting in the middle of some river in the middle of the Appalachian Mountains.
Was it a river or a hot tub? I can't remember.
Well, for a man that size, it's probably a river that he calls a hot tub.
Very true.
All right. So let me play devil's advocate. Here's what I find interesting about the Jeff Hardy stuff. All right. I'm doing this not because I believe in it. I'm doing this because I'm trying to play the devil's advocate and play the other side. How do they make this interesting without going to Matthew's house? Maybe they find out that it's not Sheamus, because we're all being led to believe. I mean, it's pretty basic, and you're led to believe that it's Sheamus, right?
Yeah, no, I think they're going to do some type of little swerve there where there's a mystery, a mystery person.
What about the hacker?
Yeah, that does need a payoff, doesn't it?
That
does need a payoff, yeah.
I mean, it's not like we're going to find out who was driving the white limo.
Yeah. We could do that, or you could find out who was driving that van that kidnapped Samoa Joe. Remember that? Maybe it's one. Maybe it's one and the same. Yeah.
By the way, they did pay off that white limo long time later, but they did pay off the white limo.
Yeah, they did.
You know what I'm talking about, folks? I don't know if you know.
I can't remember the payoff now.
Well, the payoff was WCW. Who was driving the white Hummer? It wasn't a limo, it was a Hummer. Who was driving the white Hummer? And It ended up being Eric Bischoff when they were trying to rebrand and relaunch the WCW. That happened on that opening Nitro, and then we're like, wait, Eric Bischoff was driving the white Hummer. Remember the white Hummer? Oh, look at that. You finally paid something off 2 years later. The white Hummer.
That's what you call a slow burn, Meathead.
A slow burn. I feel like we're back talking about WCW Nitro in 96.
Hey, if you want a little piece of that, you can just check out our Retro Nitro podcast from a couple years back. We got quite a few episodes on that.
We do, and we even broke down. I think we were doing Super Brawls from TBS, weren't we? What was the ones on TBS? Clash of the Champions.
Yep.
Huh. I can't believe we actually broke those down too. I mean, it was fun. Don't get me wrong, but who wanted to know about what happened, to Dirty Dusty in 1996? See, I'll tell you what there, brother. Billy, if you will.
Here's the thing, though, Meathead. When we were doing those, that was before WWE gave everybody what they wanted and put Saturday nights, I almost said Saturday night's main event, but WCW Saturday night, as well as Thunder on the air. Because if we had actually caught up to that time period, Meathead, we could have gone all in, not just Clash of the Champions, not just pay-per-views, not just Nitro, but Saturday Night Main Event and Thunder. Yeah, we could have been your one-stop shop for WCW in 1997 and 98 and 2020.
I think they killed off Saturday night eventually. I know they killed off the Clash of the Champions once they did Thunder because they just had no more room for it, no more time for it. I enjoyed watching Thunder, not to go off on a tangent here and kind of, break off of SmackDown. I enjoyed watching Thunder. The opening few Thunders were terrible because they had like a boulder that would open up and then you would come out of it and the boulder would stick half the time like it was stuck on the rails.
Yeah. But it was another night of entertainment, and that Thunder predated SmackDown, right?
It did. That's where SmackDown came from because they found out that Thursday Night Wrestling was viable. Yeah. The SmackDown happened in 99. So I can tell you specifically SmackDown happened, I think it was the build up to SummerSlam 99 because Jericho debuted August 9th, 99. I was at the Raw in Milwaukee on August 10th, and I think the SmackDown was that following Thursday.
Uh-huh.
It might have been the Thursday after, but it was a build to SummerSlam because we heard Triple H's music about 5 times because China was wrestling under his music at that time. All right, so SmackDown. Speaking of SmackDown, to make Jeff Hardy interesting, maybe it's somebody else. Maybe it's, it's not Matt Hardy because Matt Hardy's got a good thing going, as you saw on AEW on Wednesday night. Matt Hardy, the Hardy Boys version, Team Extreme, was there talking to Private Party. So it's not Matt Hardy. Unless Matt Hardy segues off into about 5 different bodies, I don't think it's Matt Hardy. I don't know, other than the hacker showing it's somebody else other than Sheamus. Maybe maybe it's Matt Riddle or Matt Riddle, because Matt Riddle's supposed to be coming up too. Who's to say?
Yeah, if they do go that route, give us something fresh. Just give us something fresh. If it's Sheamus, that doesn't feel fresh. And I don't know. I'm sure we've got Matt or Jeff Hardy, Sheamus at some point. If we haven't, it's not anything that overly excites me. But just give us something fresh. Matt Riddle would be interesting. I mean, that would be his intro into the main roster. Doesn't quite seem what they would do with him initially. It seems like somebody you can get a lot of mileage out as a baby face. So I think that's how they initially bring him in. But I don't know. Maybe it's somebody else from the NXT roster that's coming in to make a splash. But give us something here and focus on the mystery of who it was that set him up and get away from the DUI stuff, get away from the alcohol stuff, because that's the thing. If you want to give us a mystery angle, you can do that without all the substance abuse stuff. If that is your payoff there, you don't need this. You don't need that route to get there. And I think that's what it's not that people aren't interested in a mystery or not interested in a mystery attacker. It's just the way they're getting there. And you're making this angle out of somebody who's had, issues with this. And it's not even a little one-off comment that he approved or anything. It's you're opening a show with it. You're setting that scene up. Just move on past that and focus on the mystery element of it, and hopefully they will surprise us.
It's funny. We heard Dave Hero say this week that, Jeff Hardy's a good guy. He goes with everything. I wish Jeff Hardy would have said no to this.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, Jeff wants to be on TV, he wants to, work, he wants to be a good company guy, but think about merchandise. I had asked Dave this, and Dave really came back with Jeff sells a ton of kids merchandise. How do you explain this to your parents or to your kids as a parent? I'm sorry, he was just he was hepped up on goofballs. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Goofballs.
He ate too much candy.
That's it. Candy. Yikes. All right. So Jeff Hardy's going to set the story straight on what happened. We do have Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross battling Bayley and Sasha Banks for the women's tag team titles. Your thoughts? Do Nikki and Alexa hang on to the tag team titles?
I think they do. I would expect to see a further little rift between Sasha and Bayley. I think where the money's at in the tag team division is the Iconics. And I know they've gone back and forth a little bit, but I think that is your staple WWE tag team right now. Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross, as talented as they are, it still feels a little bit thrown together for me. When I see the Iconics, I see a tag team. When I see Bayley and Sasha Banks, I see a thrown together tag team. Iconics scream, this is a tag team. It's not two singles thrown together. I would like to see the tag team division go that way and the belts back on the Iconics sooner rather than later.
That would be an iconic move for sure, because again, they look like a tag team. Not that Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross haven't done great work, because they have, but you're right. It was something that was kind of thrown together. Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles are going to come out and go face-to-face ahead of the Intercontinental Championship clash that's coming up, not this weekend, but next weekend at Backlash.
Yeah, really looking forward to this. Anytime these two guys get together, they tell an incredible story. I think this is probably single-handedly the best thing the WWE has going for them right now. And by best, I mean what I personally am interested in the most. I think that this time, this very strange era we're in with empty arenas, it has been a time where the recipe for success, whatever company it is, I think your best bet has been to focus on the wrestling, has been to focus on the in-ring storytelling. I like the tournament aspects that the different companies are doing. You've got a tournament going on over in Impact. You've had the tournament in AEW for the TNT title. That just give us a tournament, let the wrestling tell the story, because your best bet for whatever people you can put in your audience is background noise at best, so you cannot overly focus on that. Let the wrestling tell the story. If there is a vacated title or a new title, as the case with the TNT title was, or just a renewed effort that you want to put in a division, have a tournament, let people get vested in the wrestling matches, and let the matches mean something. So I don't think they did what they could have done with the Intercontinental Tournament, but I'm excited for the results. I'm excited for these guys to lock up.
Now, Miz and John Morrison are going to have more shenanigans for Braun Strowman. I absolutely don't like this. I mean, I understand there's nothing for Braun Strowman to do right now. I mean, where is Bray Wyatt?
I don't know. And that boggles my mind, because, this is the time to focus on stuff that, these vignettes that are not taking place in the ring, and so it doesn't sound like I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth. I think what happens there in the ring needs to be matches that mean something. I think promos should be set much more in vignette form backstage. It does not make logical sense to me when I see a Raw or a SmackDown start with somebody coming out with a mic addressing an audience that's not there. It makes sense. If you're trying to convey that message, do so in a backstage interview or a vignette. Just starting the shows with promos is where I feel like WWE currently has the most disconnect, in this COVID era, or whatever you want to call it. So, yeah, I mean, this would have been a perfect time for featuring Bray Wyatt heavily. I mean, I would not be upset if you had 30 minutes of your 2 hours of SmackDown, devoted to Firefly Funhouse, because we've seen them take those risks with things like the Taker AJ Styles match, with the Money in the Bank, climbing to the top of corporate headquarters. I don't know why there's not more focus on Firehouse Bray at this point.
Right, and more, stuff that you can just film.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on the Raw side, while Dave Hero has, he's been the one I've talked to about is absolutely just despises the whole thing with the Street Profits and the Viking Raiders. It is something else.
Yeah,
it's something else to do.
I don't mind it, and say theoretically, just hypothetically, if it was a week where time was of the essence and I didn't have time to watch every single match in its entirety, and I was using the fast forward function on my digital video recorder, the Street Profits, I mean, these segments I'm stopping for because it's something different and there's some creative license there. And it has given a personality to the Viking Raiders that prior to this were just these two dudes with beards that were coming to the ring and squashing people, and that was that. So it's given a personality to a tag team that I felt like really had not had much time put into the development of that personality. So, I'm enjoying that. And I like the fact that they're utilizing that's getting attention and getting time. And it's not these two tag teams coming out and talking in the middle of the ring to an empty arena.
I'll debate you on the personality for the Vikings. I think the personality doesn't fit. It does give them one, but I don't like the personality it's given them because it's pretty much made them look like buffoons. Now, the Street Profits were always acting, goofing around and doing whatever. I'll go back to the day where the Street Profits were doing the commentary with King and I think it was Tom Phillips, and it might have been Byron Saxton, when King goes, guys, calm down. Literally, you got to shut up over here. I think that's what ran King off the commentary booth because we haven't seen King up there since.
Wow. That's a good point.
I mean, these guys were going 100 miles an hour going, woo, God, woo, God, oh, yeah. Yeah, they were a little much for me, too, even though they are on my PWR fantasy draft team. So, happy to have them. Matthew, we are going to make sure that everybody's aware that over on Facebook, Apple Podcasts, Fight TV, and, YouTube, that you can like and subscribe to our videos, and you'll be able to make sure that you can get notifications when new videos are coming out. Last night, we had a brand new primetime with Sugar Shane Helms, the Hurricane, talking with David and Damian. You never know when more episodes are going to come out. I heard talk that there's going to be a Beat a Booker for this Sunday's NXT In Your House Takeover. So make sure you guys are checking our videos out. That way you'll be made aware when they're coming up. So for Matthew Thomas, it's your boy, the man they call Meathead. Thanks for stopping by. So long, everyone.